I was actually just journaling, and I was don't know why, but I'd wake up every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning and just heard this voice tell me to start writing. And so I started writing, and I just, after I had my first open heart surgery, I'd been writing about that. I was journaling. And so it started out as a journal, actually, and from there, I went to putting it together as a book. But I didn't actually decide to do a book until I was like given an ultimatum. I had a heart attack a year ago, and Dr. George, my cardiologist, when I was released from the hospital, he put on a prescription pad, "This is your assignment, this is what you need to do. You know, God has told you if you finish this book, you will be healed." And he said, "I don't know what else we could do for you." So he put on a prescription pad and said, "You have 30 days to get the manuscript to the publisher." So within 30 days, I got the manuscript to the publisher, and I totally enjoyed writing. You know, I had to, when I started writing, I got all of my journals together and started putting it together, and I realized that this is God's book, it's not mine, it's His story, not mine. So I had decided that I'd always put my book here, and I'd have my computer here, and I would say, "God, this is your book, what do you want people to know?" And I'd take my journals, and I would always listen to what He wanted. When, after the book had gone to publisher, I had gangrene in my legs before that. But after that, all of a sudden color started coming back on my legs and that sort of thing. So my next book is called God's Fulfilled Promises, about tomorrow. And His promises are fulfilled, because all of a sudden, I'm wearing shoes. I haven't worn shoes for like many years because I've had gangrene. And God is healing me, and it's just since the book's been published. It's a story of hope. I want people to know that, this earth is not, life here on earth is not all there is, because heaven is so beautiful. I've been there twice, and I describe what heaven is like, how beautiful it is. But at age of 37, I was running for the Boston Marathon, and 10 miles a night. And so I was also president of the local school board. And one night after presiding over the meeting, I had pain going down my left arm. I'm like, whatever, So I went to my neurologist. He said, "We're going to send you a cardiologist." I said, "Why would you send me a cardiologist? I'm running, 6-minute miles, 10 miles a night." And he said, "Just appease me." I said, "Okay." So I went to cardiologist, and from there, they found that my mitral valve was leaking. So they went in and did open heart surgery, and 4 hours later, I had a massive stroke, and the valve failed. So they took me back into surgery to put a mechanical valve in, and that's when I went to heaven the first time. And then 6 months later, that valve failed again. And another year, it failed again. So I was in my third open heart surgery, and then the year after that, I had ovarian cancer. And it just, for 28 years, I've had surgeries, 1 or 2 every year. And then I end up having a head-on collision with a semi. And I had the stroke. I also had a stroke. And so I was at physical therapy and just recovering, and they actually it was a Friday, and they had a party, like, yes, I'm finally able to walk and move my hands, do all that normal thing again. And Saturday morning, I was leaving my house to go work out at gym by myself, on my own. And, 5 minutes from my house, it was the last snowstorm we had, and my car was slipping on the road, and I had hit a semi head on. I was in a body cast for a year, and of course lost my job. And so, I'm just like, okay, what is all this about? And then during that time, I had what they called a neuroma on the right side of my head, which is bunches of nerve endings and firing really bad. So they sent me to the hospital to have an injection. And there's a chapter in my book called Hearing God's Voice. And when I was in a wheelchair, I heard this voice say, "Reschedule this." And I'm like, what? What's that? I had no idea. And so I, took my wheelchair over to the nurse, and I said, we need to reschedule this. And she's like, "Oh, honey, you're just scared because you had the accident." And so I think, no, something's wrong. Well, it happened the second time. I did the same thing. Third time's a charm. You're out, right? And so I was like, oh my gosh. So they took me back and they did the injection. They put me to sleep before they did the injection. And when I came out of the injection, my whole body was like jumping up and down off the bed. It was like I was being electrocuted. And I heard the nurse say to the doctor, "You got the wrong patient." So instead of injecting in the right side of my head, he went in my spinal cord and injected 2 needles to right and 2 left. I just want to bring hope to people. I want people to know that we all go through so many trying times in life. Everybody has their own story. And I want people to know that, you know, God is always there for them, and He knows that they were born, you know, what was going to happen. I say, you know, we all have 2 things in common. We're all born and we all die. It's our journey between those years, the decisions we make, that makes it our journey. My message is that it is about hope, and that everybody has their own story. Everybody goes through struggles. They go through things. There was a gentleman in front of me that was just in a bad mood, you know, had a bad day, whatever. We all do that. And I kept saying, okay, what can I do to help him? So I was taking things out of his cart to put on the counter. In the meantime, I dropped everything back in his cart. And he's like, you know, lady, I think you're trying to help me, but you're not doing a really good job. What's your problem? And I said, you know, I had doctor damage my spinal cord, that's it. And he's like, really? So we got talking about it, and he said, I'd be really mad, you know, and I said, I was for a while, but, you know, you have to forgive, because you're only hurting yourself. So, long story short, you know, we got talking about different things that happened. He bought his things, I bought mine. I went out to my car. As I was backing my car out, he's standing there with these flowers, and I'm like, what's this? And he said, these are for you. You saved my life today. And I got out of my vehicle and I said, oh yeah, because I dropped everything back in the car? And he's like, no. He goes, I really feel bad about telling you this, but I have to tell you. He said, he said, I came here and I bought groceries. I was going to make supper for my wife, and I was going to put these flowers on the table, and after she went to bed, I was going to commit suicide because I lost my job. And I was like, you lost your job and you were going to commit suicide? And he goes, I know. But he said, Jeannie, your story made me realize that there's hope. Because I said to him, I said, you need to realize that when one door closes, God opens another. And so that's what I want. I pray that my story will do, is bring people hope, that we all go through a lot of tough things, we all go through trials. But during my trials, you know, yeah, I fought against wanting to do my own thing, but in the long run, God is my all. He's the one that healed me. He's the one that knows the answers. And I want people to know how beautiful heaven is. I want people to know that when we go to heaven, it is absolutely beautiful. We talk about, wouldn't it be great to live in a world where everybody loves each other and there's no pain? That's what heaven is about. It's absolutely beautiful. So I want people to know that no matter what trial you go through, that life after here, our eternal life, is absolutely beautiful, and it's worth what we go through. Hi, the title of my book is A Journey of Hope to Heaven and Back, and you can get it on, purchase it on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles, and you can also get it through Zoom and Press. So I invite you to order the book. I pray that it will inspire you and will bring you hope, and that's my goal with writing the book.